Many thanks for your company here. Former rector of Gimpa and now Ashesi University lecturer, Professor Akufo-Addo, is challenging public officials who feel they are underpaid to resign. Professor Addo says a low salary is no justification for such officials to engage in corruption. The statesman was addressing the perception that public officials have no choice but to engage in such practices because they are paid very little. Speaking on Joy FM Super Morning Show Wednesday, he said corruption of any kind cannot be tolerated.
I don't think, and let us underline, anybody has any excuse to be corrupt. If you think that you have gotten a job and they won't pay you, resign. I mean, don't let us try to give justifications for why people are corrupt and they are corrupt. In fact, those people who really take more money are not those in need.
Away from that, police in Kumasi have opened the offices of the Daily Guide newspaper after they were locked for hours. A group calling itself Kumasi Youth Association posted notices on the building which suggest the lockdown is because of publications in the newspaper about money laundering tribunal hearings in the UK, in which the name of Asantehene Otumfuo Osei II was mentioned. Residents of the Ashanti region capital, which is also the seat of the Ashanti Kingdom, have already expressed their displeasure at the tribunal proceedings and the reportage around it, which they describe as attempts to tarnish the image of the Asantehene. The association therefore closed down the offices to register their displeasure. John News' Ohiming spoke to the Menchia District Police Commander.
We had information this morning that the offices of Daily Guide has been locked by some people, but by the posters on the wall, they call themselves Kumasi Youth Association. So we are here first to protect life and property. There was a woman who was locked in. We managed to bring her out before we even came here. So no life has been lost. We've gone to all the offices of Daily Guide, plus other offices that are housed in this property. Nothing has been stolen, nothing is missing, nothing is damaged.
Wow, so nothing has been stolen, nothing is damaged. Beyond your presence here, what will police do? Because you've inspected the area and you think that everything is intact.
For now, we don't know who has done this, but all we know is that by the posters, there is a group called Kumasi Youth Association. Let me use your medium to ask them to come to us. We will sit down with them and know why they did what they did.
I was thinking that when they don't come to you, probably as a law enforcement agency, you can't take over somebody's property forcefully. You may be looking for them, searching for them, instead of asking them to come to your outfit.
For now, let us ask them to come. I know they will come. If they really exist, they will come. But they might have something on their minds. They should come and tell us. Don't forget that George is always better than war.
I see. So does it mean that even when they come, it might not even make an arrest?
I'm saying we are invited them to come to us. We will talk to them.
All right. So that has been ACP Kwaku Bua, the Menchia Divisional Commander. He led his men to the Daily Guide office here this morning.
Meanwhile, some journalists who are at the scene are unhappy about the development. Some of them spoke to my colleague Ohiming.
I just don't understand why we have to report and doesn't cause any mayhem to the community, the same community that we sacrifice our life to go where people don't go, to voice the voiceless, to just expose the rot and to inform the public, educate, entertain them. If you come to the office in the morning and you realize that your office have been locked with some unusual inscription, at least it puts fear in you. At least you just don't understand why you have to sacrifice your life, work for the nation, but then they wouldn't appreciate what you do for them. So okay.
not cutting it short, but do you think that journalists are being targeted in this whole episode?
Well, I wouldn't say journalists have been targeted. This story that cropped up, it was a developing story and everybody was following keenly. And at the end of the day, we reported on both sides and we realized that indeed the man involved, the alleged money laundering, has been rubbish. So I don't understand why they have to do this. And I would say this is the first time I'm witnessing this, and I would say this is not good for the journalism fraternity at all. Security is very, very paramount. You know, the work we do, whatever you do, definitely it will affect someone positively and someone also negatively. And we think we are doing our work. We are reporting or we are informing the public, but definitely someone may be hurt with our report, even though it wouldn't be intentional. So I would think journalism office or media houses should be properly secured so that people wouldn't just come in and go out without proper checks.
I mean that you are asking them to be on alert for similar attacks on them, on their offices?
Absolutely. Like I said, looking at the nature of job we do, you may report without even thinking that you hurt the feelings of others, but then the person would feel hurt.
A resident who was locked up in the building spoke to Joy News.
It's 4 o'clock. Me tell say be Mary what on kwadu a what team mu frɛ me say ma what team mu frɛ me say ma kwadu ye de credo abegu mu gate na no e de ade kokko bi asan atworotworo fom ti o yes and me yam hyeme ti me yam hyeme ti me begina asoro ha sei ti de na me kan ne say do abeye we dem de no be kɔ Force FM me de no be kɔ Force FM na hwa na abeye sa de wa ha enti ye na me san tia mu se o mu ma me atwede na me fancy form enti ye na bra ye o gina hwe na da wo ma ko fa atwede ni free Church of Christ wo ba ye to mu de ba na me see form ti me see form me kan ho no ana me hu se o mu no atro se enkrofo bi di kuya ena o mu ni dairy guide for no na anya Omuni daily guide for ni nenya. Aha. Ena omo say daily guide for na tronsem bia tia ye na no tumfo. Enti mi hu santro ye in fact. Esa ma me ba form. Enti
mama mi sa say e ye den na wo free efie abrosa no so see form.
Me di atwede wa ibra we. Ono na di atwede ni be see ha say. Ena wo mu esoso atwede ni na mi san mi huri me tra we no dade no so na me de me na mienu sisi ya ansa na mi sane afra atwede no
enti mi misa wo say ebre di nkan ni a asemati say atom
ebi nsi wa hada
ama hu bi abomu say bi a kina bibi fo betimi asaba
sane enchom ye kan ne say ensem trofo no wa ne de bibi betimi asan aba but ye fam Akufo-Addo me this time no me wa ha menya ni da ho wa ha
Any da hon dia na obeye oba omudoso no mobile dia na obeye
se wo mu ba ye na wo mu doso no sanka mi wo mu dia sanka bra ka me mprima wo mu ento aprunu mo ne anka bia anka wo mu babo me na ntomre se wo mu so mrum emmo me na ye ne beba no na nipa so wa ha ye den ate fi so wo mu ba na anka jata mienu si kwan na no a enti nko wo mu baba abeto gate ni
na menyi ni se obetumi akofa jata abetena wo jata be na ade ne beba
se ne me kakra ma kra wa ha sanka wo mu nyesa e che se hwe otie Susian pass efie no enye daily guide for nkwa na wom hwe sofo bi na wo side say no ana access for so ha ana traveling tour for so wo ho so nti se woni obi wa asama to me say some sa blasa nkrofo no ho se wo dia wo se wo mo office wa ha no se nyi wo nkwa na wa nipa so wo fie ho so na ba ya wo betu me aprum no me ye wo dwan
me da se ma me ama Kwadu ma me Akufo-Addo she's actually a resident in this house and she is saying that she was caught up upstairs and she has to be assisted on a ladder before she managed to come down and she's so angry as she puts it she wouldn't understand why somebody would want to lock up a building which houses several organizations residential apartment for some residents in Kumasi, and he was locked up upstairs. So she says that beyond this, from henceforth, she wants to take some measures. The measures that she wants to take will be maybe getting police involved.
Now, notices pasted on the premises identify Kumasi Youth Association as being behind the action. The union demanded an immediate apology and retraction of that publication by the paper alleging money laundering involving the Asante. There are no reports of missing or damaged property of affected businesses. Malaysia Divisional Commander ACP Kwekubua, who led a team to the scene, confirms to Joy News all workers are safe. Away from that, immediate past Director General of the Police Criminal Investigations Department, TOP Bright Odro, says he is considering legal action against Asin Central MP Kennedy Ejapong after the legislator accused him of protecting land guards. COP Odro, who's been asked to proceed on leave, believes the MP's claim is partly responsible for his him being asked to proceed on leave. Kennedy Ejapong has on several platforms accused COP Odro of protecting land guards from investigation and eventual prosecution. He, however, denies these allegations, saying he does not know any of these land guards he's been accused of shielding.
At CRD headquarters, and on one occasion we had to sit on a case that he was also involved in at headquarters. But that man, I think it's not only during my tenure as Director General CID. I think we have had cases even long before I came to the CID or about land. Land matters are not easy to determine because the determination lies with the court. Unless, of course, somebody beats up somebody or somebody attacks, somebody fraudulently sells land, somebody causes damage. But even when you cause damage, first of all, we need to determine whether you are the owner or not. If you are not the owner, then you can be sent to court for causing damage.
COP, if your personality was attacked in the past, you never responded, the police service never responded, and it's gotten to this. Are you going to take any action from today to clear your name, or are you going to leave it just like that?
I'm going to look at the tapes. I mean, the tapes that have already been in circulation. Of course, he has said so many things, and I have not even had the opportunity to examine some of the tapes.
Is it not too late going back to listen to all these tapes?
It is not too late, my brother, because if I determine that I have not been fairly treated or I have been a subject of ridicule, insult, lambasting, and so on, I can take any action. But as I said, I'm going to look at them, and then from there I will decide what to do next.
How do you feel?
Now I am no more, even though I am on leave, I am not in active service anymore, and so I can decide to look at them and then seek advice and then move on from there.
Now, some residents of Adenta Ashiye this morning pitched camp at the residence of President Akufo-Addo as they presented a petition to him. Now, they're accusing the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research of land encroachment. They say their properties are being fenced by the center, making it difficult for them to access their homes. Joy News' Joseph Akablay spoke to some of the residents.
So I'm some few meters away from the residence of the president, Nana Akufo-Addo, here at Nima, and I'm here for a very special reason. The reason being that some individuals have pitched camp some few meters away from the president's residence. They have some concerns. We understand they are here to present a petition. Just when I arrived at the premises here, we saw the president's convoy move away from the place, but we still need to engage them to try and understand why they've decided to pitch camp at the residence, just opposite the residence of the president. You can see the young, the old, children who are supposed to be in school, all staging. They are using this place as their camp for this morning as they try and present the petition over to the president. Their leader is right here with me. He will be telling us exactly which group it is that have pitched camp here and why they've come over to the residence of the president this morning. What's your name?
Yes, my name is Humphrey.
Humphrey.
Ankama.
Ankama. Which group do you lead?
It's a resident association. and situated in Adenta, Ashie. Yes, this issue we are here to petition our president, His Excellency Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, on an issue bothering us within our community. We wake up about 3 weeks now and we realize that they are fencing our properties. So we quickly rush to the authorities to find out what the issue is about. Who authorized or who gave permission for them to fence our properties? We went to them, they directed us to one Dr. Edu, who is the director of CSIR, that he's the one in charge.
If I understand, just to be clear on what exactly you are talking about, you are saying they are fencing your communities. They are putting fence around the community.
Exactly. Exactly. They are fencing our properties where we are living. Right now, no road for us to have access to our properties. So we are here this morning to petition the president that we want him to humbly put up a committee, a neutral committee, because we realize that there are some malice, there are people working maliciously to sacrifice a certain portion of the community to be fenced. So we are calling on the president, because we have tried all means to talk to authorities to come to our aid, but to no avail. So this morning...
You did mention that this is being carried out by the CSI, or the Center for Scientific and Industrial Research.
Exactly.
What kind of communication have they given you? Because if I understand, if it's your property and you own it and someone is fencing it, I mean, obviously you need to be asking questions from that person. What have they told you?
Exactly. They told us that the land belongs to the land belongs to the government. So if the land belongs to the government, we have document to prove that the land has been sold to us by the Alodia owners. From there, we don't know. But we fall a victim of buying land which turned out not to be ours. All that we are asking for is a negotiation, because we have invested, we have pensioners, we have doctors who are now on retirement, about 300 and over residents, because...
Let's stay on agitated residents, because residents of Gomoa-Fete say land guards have been terrorizing them and causing mayhem in their community. Kingmakers of Gomoa-Fete, who've been raising these concerns at a media briefing this morning, want the security agencies to take immediate action to stop the act of lawlessness being perpetrated by these land guards. Matilda Wemega was at that press briefing and joins us with more. Hello, Matilda. What more can you report on this?
So, Ben, is according to this kingmakers from Gomoa-Fete, this has been going on for quite some years now, but it appears to be getting out of hand, because not long ago, a pregnant woman was mercilessly beaten until she became unconscious. And she's not the only one. Others have suffered the same fate in the hands of these land guards. And they say that this act is being perpetrated by one Pesi Alaji. He is actually behind these land guards within Gomoa-Fete. They talked about the fact that the police administration has been unconcerned about persistent complaints that has been lodged, specifically the Kaswa District Police. Talked about the fact that the police is in bed with these land guards. So because of that, they are able to just take the community and then unleash mayhem on these residents who live within Gomoa-Fete. So immediately they are asking for swift intervention from the security agencies. Specifically, they want the Ghana Armed Forces to be stationed in the community, because it appears these have been compromised in this situation. So these are some of the concerns raised by the kingmakers from the Gomoa-Fete Bennett.
Well, Matilda, I'd like you to reposition yourself. There's a bit of wind coming through and it's quite difficult to hear you. But before you go, Matilda, have they been telling you, for example, how long these people have been terrorizing their community, as they put it?
So it's been going on for years. We don't know the number of years, but it appears it's been going on for quite some time now. It appears it is actually getting out of hand at the moment, because several of them are being beaten, they are being tortured. These land guards invade their homes at any time, broad daylight, and some of them actually have the police giving them escort That is what appears worrying for these kingmakers in Ghana-Ivory. That's why they want a quick intervention from government, specifically to station the Ghana Armed Forces within the community, because it appears the police have been hinted.
Do they give an ultimatum? Do they give an ultimatum?
They didn't give an ultimatum, but it's something that I think the police should take immediate action to
Right,
address.
thank you very much, Matilda Wemega. Unfortunately, we're losing her on the line, though we'll end the conversation here. But she's been giving us some updates on the press briefing this morning, where kingmakers of Ghana-Ivory are asking the government or asking security agencies to come to their community to stop the act of lawlessness being caused allegedly by some land guards in the area. We'll take a quick breather. When we come back here on Joy News Today, we'll bring you more stories. Please don't go away. Thanks for staying here on Joy News Today. Just a quick update from the ongoing Under-17 World Cup tournament in India. And Ghana is playing Niger currently at halftime, and the Starlets are leading by 1-0. Away from that, President Akufo-Addo says he expects a drastic reduction in the cost of doing business and the formalization of Ghana's economy in the coming days following the launch of the National Digital Property Addressing System. The addressing system, according to the President, is also expected to revive collapsed businesses and make them viable. He said this obviously when he launched the National Digital Property Addressing System at the International Conference Center here in Accra.
All individuals and properties will be able to obtain their own unique addresses as we strive to build a credible national address register. The National Address Database creates an avenue for new businesses and industry. I urge all stakeholders, ministries, security agencies, health authorities, educational institutions, lands commission, financial institutions, private sector operators, to liaise with the Ministry of Communications and Ghana Post. The administration of lands will receive a major boost with the property addressing system. It should help provide a solution to the menace of land guards and the other unpleasant experiences currently associated with investing in land and real property. We will now have an immovable, digital, unique signature of lands. I applaud Ghana Post for leading the way in the implementation of this initiative. They showed us the way to the world once.
Now, if you run out of gas for your kitchen stove, you may have to wait a while before you can refill your cylinder. The LPG Marketers Association of Ghana has asked all of its members to shut down their stations immediately, pending visits of the association's internal maintenance and scrutiny task force. The task force is inspecting all LPG stations to ensure compliance with safety regulations. Joy News' Nancy Emefa Dradosi visited some of these stations in Accra and reports.
So just some few hours after the LPG marketing companies issued a statement to inform all the operators to shut down until further notice for the companies to undertake some maintenance. We are here today at Awudome. To be precise, we are at the Anaset gas filling station, and from what you can see behind me, they are totally shut down. No one is operating. Speaking to some of the workers here, they tell me that though they didn't even hear about the announcement from the LPG marketing companies, all they know is that they had directives from the owner and the boss that they should shut down and no one should work today.
Kami be fili gas wa na me buy na omo some measures be tini omo close down answer. Nti me mi kura na me nim. Se se na me beti won nchen. You say me ka say me ni capre kura me ni bi kura ofie. However, with some of the companies that we visited that are operating just like that of the Trust gas filling station, they tell us that they have not received any directive from the LPG Marketing Association.
Well, Public Relations Officer of the LPG Marketers Association, Bernard Oredo, explains the association is trying to protect its member stations from punitive measures by the NPA. He spoke earlier on News Desk.
We don't have the itinerary of the NPA, and we are not aware as to why, the reasons, and the areas of their operation. So we are saying that instead of waiting for the MPA to close our outlets down, so we pay fines and penalties, and even again pay for re-inspection and all that, we would come to the technical team ourselves, and their mandate is to visit all our outlets to make sure that there is integrity with the installations, to make sure that all the safety precautions are being adhered to. So it's a measure we are taking before the MPA comes to our end. So it is not a strike action. It is in the interest of safety. That is why we have constituted the technical committee. We've asked them to close down their stations until the task force comes to your end, inspects everything, and gives you the go-ahead. You can't.
Now, the partial collapse of an old concrete bridge over the Abuabu stream on the main Kumasi Lake Busumtri Road exposes motorists and other road users to danger. Part of the road has caved in and left a deep gaping hole after strong currents forced a barricading wall on the wings to break and soil reinforcement washed away. Road users, especially pedestrians, mostly children, are at risk. Ohiming Terrier has more in the following report.
Until Tuesday, wooden buses had been used to warn the public of the danger. Though some repair works were done on the bridge about 2 years ago, that could not prevent the destruction. There are reports of people falling into the stream, with the latest incident occurring last week. Reverend Peter Apiakubi and volunteers packed wooden boxes to warn road users.
It was last week when the rain was falling. Then I was traveling to Sokoban. When I stayed there, I heard Jim. So the boys was creating awareness that, hey. So I rushed. When I went there, I saw that there was a big hole. So I started to bring that empty boxes to cover so that nobody will fall into that hole.
For now, commuters have no option but to use the bridge in its present state.
The bridge used to be strong until 2 years ago. Though some repair works were done, it is in a bad state now. It can cave in at any time. It is dangerous to walk on it.
Meanwhile, officials at the Urban Roads Department acknowledge the danger. Regional Director Francis Gambra says steps are being taken immediately to repair the damage.
Well, I think as you can see, there's been a washout because of the incessant rains that we've had in the recent times. Yeah, I think the river course overflowed boundary, and that's why we had this washout there. So obviously we need to do a repair of the retaining wall. It is dangerous, as you can see, because people can easily fall into this huge hole that has been created as a result of this problem. So as I have said, people using these roads, we've tried to put in place some caution tape, at least just to alert people using of the road of the danger here. What we are going to do is to take immediate steps to repair the problem that has arisen as a result of the washout. Consideration will be made to the fact that in the very near future, detailed work is going to be done here. So we're going to do a temporary, or we are going to provide some solution to this so that at least the road can be safe for motorists and pedestrians using this road.
Ohiming Terrier for Joy News, Kumasi.
Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire have entered a new era of economic and political partnership. After Ivorian President Alassane Ouattara's two-day visit to the country this week, the nations have agreed to collaborate in agriculture and natural resource management, among others. Key among these is a joint application for a loan from the African Development Bank to improve domestic consumption of cocoa. So how do two nations with different internal frameworks and governance mechanisms align their systems to pursue a common interest? Dr. Akufo-Addo of the Legon Center for International Affairs and Diplomacy joins us on the line to discuss this. Hello, Doc. Thank you for your time this afternoon.
You're welcome. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. First of all, let's talk about the importance of this collaboration.
All right. I think if you would look at Ghana's history, post-independence and up until now, Ghana has always sought to promote and protect its interests domestically and internationally by pursuing a policy of good neighborliness with its neighbors. So this strategy for that is the strategy partnership agreement, it is in the right direction, I must say. Because if you look at the communique that was submitted by the two ministers of foreign affairs of both countries, you would see that the partnership covers defense and security. B, it talks about cocoa and cashew and other strategic crops being promoted in order to develop the local industry and to give us much more foreign remittance from it. Then you have maritime cooperation, mining, energy, and environment. You move on to transport and economic policies. What could be better than this? However, I think that domestically, in the light of economic policy, it would boost up our cocoa and cashew nut production. It would also most likely help our farmers to be more efficient and move them from an area of reliance on subsistence farming to commercial farming. And also, if it's done right, it will secure our borders because, of course, it will help in reducing the smuggling of cocoa beans, most especially. It would help in the reduction of human trafficking and all. And then it will strengthen the relationship between the two countries. So, all right.
Doc, let's talk about the challenges we are likely to face or likely to be faced by Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire in implementing these partnership agreements.
Well, I don't foresee the challenges. What I know is that the current challenges that we do have, and it's good that the communique recognize the domestic and international hurdles that both countries face. So, for instance, it refers to the securing of borders because it recognizes that we have porous borders that encourages smuggling. It recognizes that we have domestic farming inefficiencies, which can, of course, be addressed by external activities of agricultural extension officers. And the porous borders can equally be gradually eroded or addressed by having much more of a deliberate securitarization policy and strategy to curb the smuggling. And it also recognizes that in order for both countries to have a comparative advantage economically, politically, and the like, there is a need to develop a joint marketing strategy. So I think that the communique recognizes the limitations that we do have. But the communique seeks, or the strategic partnership agreement seeks to move a step further, saying that yes, we recognize this, but we cannot stay in this place. We need to enlarge our space by making our products more competitive, by developing our cocoa and cashew products, adding value to it, and in so doing, boosting employment domestically.
Right, Doc, sorry, but let me just ask you a final question. These two countries are sovereign states. Do you foresee any serious implications in case any of these two countries breach the terms of these agreements?
Well, you do know for sure that before this strategic partnership agreement, Ghana and Cote d'Ivoire has always enjoyed good neighborliness. And then there already exists a framework for bilateral cooperation, such as the Permanent Joint Commission for Cooperation. So it does not in any way infringe on the sovereignty of any of the two parties, and I do not see it as posing any challenges. What is most important is that it does not remain at the policy and strategic level, that there is commitment, political. There's a clear expression of commitment and political will in implementing the policy. If it is done, both countries would end up benefiting from it largely.
Thank you very much, Dr. Efua Yakohene is with Lesia. My name is Benis Abubede, and from the entire team, we wish you a very good afternoon.